The trade winds keep blowing as teams continue to look for the proper talent mix. The top of the mountain is crowded. We'll talk to players from all 4 of those teams. Plus, one other team is trying to keep its playoff hopes alive after a sluggish start to the season. Right now, everyone should feel like dancing because it's time for ECHL Week.
Welcome to another edition of ECHL Week, coming to you this time from the Huntington Center in Toledo, Ohio, home of the Toledo Walleye. As much as any time in recent memory, the wheeling and dealing of players has been strong through much of the 2016-17 season. Compounded by movement of players to and from European leagues, recalls and loans to both the NHL and AHL, coaches looking for better chemistry, plus a general sense that few teams are out of the playoff picture, you get coaches and player personnel folks trying to improve their teams for the stretch run and beyond. Here's a representative sample of trades and signings in the final week of January. 12 teams, nearly half the league, have been involved. And this doesn't include dozens of players moving to or from American League affiliates. Most notable among the recent signings, Orlando obtained forward Chad LaRose, who has more than 500 NHL games under his belt, but who didn't play at all in 2 of the last 3 seasons. Also, Toledo re-signed goaltender Jeff Lurd, who had good numbers while playing the first half of this season in Denmark. Lurd was an ECHL second-team All-Star the last 2 seasons while playing with the Walleye. He could be a difference maker the rest of the season. When will the movement finally stop? Probably not until the ECHL trade deadline, Thursday, March 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Since December, the top 4 teams in the Mountain Division, Allen, Idaho, Colorado, and Alaska, have been jockeying for position. If these 4 teams continue that strong play in the second half of the season, it will set up a very challenging first 2 rounds of the Kelly Cup playoffs among the group. Remember, this season, the first 2 postseason series pairings are within the division. At the recent All-Star festivities in Glens Falls, New York, we caught up with representatives from all 4 of the Mountain Division's top dogs. Let's hear what they had to say about the season so far and the season yet to come.
Yeah, we started a little slower, a lot slower than the Allen fans and we would like, but it seems like we're on the right page now. It's been a fun year so far.
The Mountain Division's really tight this year, so every game is so important. You know, every game's a playoff game, and it seems that way that both teams are just playing so hard.
Idaho and Colorado, these teams is really good this year, and Allen too. Yeah, couple teams is really good, so it's tough play against him.
Definitely, every game's important with how tight the standings are, and especially with those teams in particular, so it's going to be a fun second half.
Hockey is like any sport, it's a day-to-day thing, ask us in a couple days, maybe it's different, but right now we're in good spirits and seem to be headed the right way, and there's a lot of good teams out there that have aspirations of a championship, and I'm happy to say I think we're one of them.
I think we've improved tremendously. We're really buying into the system. The guys are really coming together, and the rookies are kind of growing up. We have a good core group of first years, and we're trying to learning how to play the game and learning what the league's about, and so I think we're coming together pretty well.
Another Mountain Division club which has done well against the top teams is trying to climb back into the playoff picture when ECHL Week continues.
Check this out, bro.
What's that, Brohim?
I switched to Geico and got more.
More savings on car insurance?
Yeah, Professor, and more, like renter's insurance.
More ways to save. Nice, Bro-Tata Chip.
That's not all protein shake. Geico has motorcycle and RV insurance, too.
Ooh, that's a lot more.
Oh, yeah. I'm all about more Teddy Roosevelt.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Hi, this is Mark Deckman to the Reading Royals, and you're watching ECHL Week.
Time to take a look at news from around the ECHL. South Carolina forward Dylan Morganari is expected to make a full recovery after being injured on this play during last Saturday night's home game against Florida. Morganari underwent 2 surgical procedures and was expected to be discharged from the hospital late this week. he won't return to the team this season. No other information was made available about his condition. Morganari is in his first pro season after completing his college career at Minnesota State Mankato last year. He has 17 points in 32 games with the Stingrays this season. South Carolina won the game 5-4 in overtime. As we touched on earlier, the top 4 teams in the Mountain Division are all strong ones, but the other 3 clubs in that group, Utah, Missouri, and Rapid City, all have the talent and time to make a playoff push. We spoke with a couple of members of the Rush to hear their thoughts about what it will take for them to make the postseason.
You know, we've been above 500 since starting 0-6, but just doesn't seem that we can gain anywhere in the standings. When we do win a game, everybody else wins.
We have a young group, so I think, and myself included, I'm one of the younger guys in the team, but you can just notice that, especially in the second half, the rookies, they're expected to play like veteran players now, and you can see that in everybody's game.
Every night it's a battle against the teams in our division. We all know they're good teams, and we've beat all of them. And I think that's the frustrating thing as a coach, is that we beat some of the best teams in the league, and it's just finding that consistency with the young team that we have.
We have so many rookies and so many young guys that rookies have to take on a huge role in the team. So you have to adjust quickly and become a leader on the team quicker than on a team that maybe only has a few rookies on the team.
In my mind, we've got to win 2 out of every 3 games to have a chance of making the playoffs, and it's doable. We've got to focus game to game, or in our instance, it's 20 minutes at a time. That's all we can do.
A down to the finish highlight game. Plus, we hear from a team broadcaster in our Voices feature next on ECHL Week.
Hi, this is Zach Bell, your Idaho Steelheads, and you're watching ECHL Week.
Time once again for our highlight game of the week.
Zajac gets it back, up the near side for Perrier, he shoots, deflection, score! Joe Devin! Got it to Brant Harris, Kirkpatrick from the left circle, and he scores. That was a quick goal from Michael Kirkpatrick. Gives it a Flick, who rings one off the post. Right off the left post for Rob Flick. Now Flick tries again, and he scores! Rob Flick, 18th of the season. Now another hit on the near side between Aviani and Archambault. Archambault shoved, he takes a punch from Aviani, and Archambault's gonna go. Olivier Archambault against Mike Aviani. Archambault, his first fight of the year, took a left from Aviani. Archambault not really a fighter, and Aviani gave him a couple right shoves. Now Archambault with a couple rights, Aviani another right. Archambault's taking a couple punches, the helmet is off for Archambault. Far side for O'Donnell. O'Donnell with plenty of space at the top of the zone to the near side, and a save made by Carlson, and the rebound is knocked in by Kirkpatrick. A Florida offensive zone now as Kirkpatrick on the left circle looking for a hat trick, and it's a goal. And now off a turnover, it's Menardo who's alone, and he put it wide of the net, but the rebound is batted in! South Carolina has tied the game! Stolen by Brant Harris, chance in the slot, save Carlson, rebound, they score! And it's Danny New who scores the goal for Florida. Still holding is Rob Flick. Got to the middle. Flick to the point. Chernichin. He shoots and scores! Andrew Chernichin is first of the year. Wade Epp controls behind the net for Leach. 10 seconds to go in the game. Leach turns it over. Here's a chance in front for Florida. Logan Rowe on the backhand. Threw it in front. They score. Matt Berry, with 3 seconds to go, has given Florida a 5-4 lead.
Hi, this is Dominic Alberga of the Norfolk Admirals, and you're watching ECHL Week.
The men behind the microphones. It's time for Voices of the ECHL.
Elmira, New York. People laugh at me when I say Elmira, but I am an Elmira believer. It is the best place in minor league hockey to call a hockey game because you are right in the middle of the action. It is a great old building that I just adore. It is minor league hockey personified. Comet Hall of Famer Robbie Irons, just adore him. Watched Robbie play when I was a real little kid, and it's a joy to have him up in the press box with me every game. Robbie is just a hockey fanatic, and boy, there's a guy who knows his stuff, who has seen everything, and he has done everything. And if you need some hockey knowledge, tap into the brain of Robbie Irons. On Thanksgiving night, Bob passed away early that morning, and one thing that Bob did was, he called games for 63 years, and sometimes he would get names and numbers confused. So he would see a number and he would just equate that with a player from the past, and he would say his name. We were playing Kalamazoo that night, and they had a player by the name of O'Rourke, and I called him O'Connor, which was a player the Comets had maybe a decade ago, and that's the first time I'd ever done that. And I think, the spirit of Bob was with me that night when I messed up that name, and I had a pretty good laugh. Michael Franke, who was doing the game with me that night, we both looked at each other and had a very good laugh at that.
That wraps up another edition of ECHL Week from the Huntington Center in Toledo, Ohio. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube. Really, there's no better way to keep up to date on what's going on in the ECHL. See you next time.